At 6:11 a.m., the lake moved uphill. Not a metaphor. Neon green water rose against gravity. It snaked across the manicured lawn, climbed the clubhouse steps, and slipped under the door like it had a key. The HOA president screamed for someone to call the police. I didn't. I was already beside the EPA inspector, holding a folder older than everyone in that cul-de-sac. Maple Ridge, I said, meet your missing permits and my mother's water rights. I'm Dr. Alina Park, 36, Air Force civil engineer turned flood risk analyst. My mother left me 9 acres outside Austin, a mill pond, a stone spillway, and a note that read, "The spring is the heart. Protect it." Maple Ridge HOA decided the heart was excess water. Translation, they stole my mother's groundwater and my legal rights. It began with a letter, $150 a day for operating a commercial pump house. The so-called pump house was my mother's 1939 spring box, protected by an easement that predates the subdivision by decades. When I asked for the drainage plans to justify this, silence. Then an orange final notice stapled to my fence. Then a golf cart parade passed my driveway like I declared war. On maps, Willow Branch crosses the HOA's park and feeds my pond. On the ground, it vanished, rerouted into a swale, reappearing as a trickle behind new pickleball courts. My pond dropped 4 inches in a week. That only happens when someone cuts a vein.
Public records told the story, a temporary diversion stamped permanent, a wetland study that never existed.
A maintenance plan signed by a contractor with a suspended license. And somehow, my spring-fed pond was filed as seasonal landscaping. Knowledge nugget number 1. In most states, historic spring rights recorded before a subdivision outrank HOA covenants. Paper beats newsletters every time. The moment I asked for paperwork, the games began. Posts calling my flow meter industrial equipment. A golf cart safety patrol idling at my gate. Then Blair Whitcomb, HOA president, handed me a compromise. Cap your spring, accept a decorative fountain, and maybe Maple Ridge waives the fines. She smiled like mercy was optional. My mother's note burned in my pocket. At the county archives, I opened a brittle folder. Park Mill, 1909. Inside, an easement protecting the spring, and a 1976 Army Corps letter declaring the spillway a flood control structure of record. One signature stood out, Judge Wycombe, Blair's father, acknowledging the easement when the ranch was subdivided. Paper doesn't forget. The rain forecast was perfect, 2 inches overnight. I filed notice, legal dye tracing at the spillway. I invited the watershed office, a reporter, and one federal inspector who owed me a favor. The stage was set. At 5:58 a.m., under low, cedar-scented clouds, I poured harmless tracer upstream of the clubhouse culvert. If the creek had been untouched, the dye would have surfaced at my spillway. Instead, it disappeared. 30 seconds later, neon water bubbled through the clubhouse floor drains. Cameras rolled, the inspector's eyebrows rose. I turned the page. Unpermitted diversions and illegal cross-connections. Knowledge nugget number 2. Tie storm drains into sanitary lines or trap flows behind landscaping, and you create cross-connections and backflow hazards. That's not HOA business. That's state and federal. Blair arrived in tennis whites, clutching her binder like a shield. "This woman," she told the reporter, "is manipulating water systems for revenge. Families are afraid." Behind her, the clubhouse doors opened, green water tracing the tiles. The inspector read aloud, "No wetlands assessment? No NPDES update? No backflow prevention." Then colder, "Who signed this?" The name matched the suspended license. Blair's smile cracked like thin ice. Panic makes people sloppy. I found Blair's email to an engineer. "Hide the outfall. We'll update permits later." They never did. Then, the kicker. A bank letter tying their refinanced clubhouse loan to lake frontage. That frontage, fed by my mother's spring. EPA opened an investigation. County posted stop work. The HOA claimed I flooded the clubhouse. My data said otherwise. A trickle at the spillway, a surge only inside their building. That night, the reporter's piece aired, "Green water, red flags." My inbox filled with residents whose basements had started leaking. The same month, the HOA moved the creek. Then came the photos. A maintenance tech, anonymous at first, showed me a padlocked metal gate inside the culvert, wrapped in landscaping fabric. The HOA had literally plugged the creek, forcing it under the building, then blamed natural variation. The timestamp? Same day their contractor's license was suspended. At the emergency hearing, Blair's attorney preached aesthetics. My attorney held up the 1909 easement, the core letter, and the EPA report. The inspector testified illegal diversion, unpermitted cross-connection, locked culvert. The judge read the easement aloud, Whitcomb's name among them, and exhaled. Injunction granted. Gate removal ordered. Fines accruing daily. Federal referral active. 2 weeks later, crews cut the lock. Willow Branch took its old path like it had been holding its breath. The pickleball courts flooded, exactly where the floodplains said they would. Insurance circled. The bank realized their lake amenity never existed. Board resignations flowed faster than the creek. Blair tried the playbook, social media tears, think of the children. Then the county auditor dropped a report. Amenity funds funneled through a cousin's company. Residents once fined for mailbox paint, they watched the real bullies pack boxes. The settlement was simple. The HOA paid for culvert restoration, wetland reestablishment, and drainage retrofits that actually met code. Their insurer covered basement damage. Blair lost her real estate license. And the new board signed what my mother would have loved, the Willow Branch Conservancy easement. Spring, spillway, and creek corridor protected. Forever. On the first night the frogs returned, the pond sounded like a crowd finally allowed to cheer. My mother's note rests above the mantel. The reporter sent a photo of kids catching minnows where the decorative swale once stood. Knowledge nugget number 3. If your HOA touches creeks or springs, ask for permits, as-builts, and maintenance logs. If they stall, file public records requests. Paper leaves footprints. Follow them. Water remembers where it belongs. And when you bring the right paperwork, justice flows there, too. Drop your HOA horror story below. I read every one. If this helped, hit subscribe. Next week, the HOA that banned solar until a neighbor powered the entire block during a blackout without breaking a single rule.